Okay, I just did a video about, that included parts about how societies wind up, people in the societies wind up taking care of the problems that start to arise. It could take for many years. But, when things get too turned upside down, like it is these days where customer service people believe that they are always right and customers always wrong kind of thing. And it gets turned around, and then at some point society will take care of itself, people in the social world, society, and start doing corrective, and it can turn back around to the way it should be, or a version of it to a better way, or it just totally declines, destroyed, that kind of thing. But those are kind of extremes. But usually, yes, what I've seen and studied and everything, they one is that it turns back around. Okay, and in some things you can see it as you see younger people in whatever generation, they will rebel against against their parents' generation or their grandparents' generations, whatever. They will want to go to the extreme opposite, and how that winds up at some point, it gets really bad. It just gets to where it's destroying things. And okay, but you can have, within those generations, let's call them that, and you will have some that are just going to be, they're going to stand on what they believe, even though it's hurting and harming themselves and others. They're just going to say that their thought is, well, the world has to change. I don't have to. The world has to change. And that's not necessarily how it's going to work out. In fact, I don't think that it really does all that often. In some it does, but it just depends on what it is, really. Let me give an example of one. When I was, I say my late 20s, early 30s, around that time, a lot of the people around my age, or younger especially, they felt like, when they go to work, at a professional kind of job or office job, whatever, some level of professionalism, that they didn't want, well, it was men mainly, that they didn't want to have to cut their hair, or they didn't want to have to, wear something other than blue jeans or just casual. And they were faced with, working in an office, and the boss says no, and they wanted to fight against any kind of dress code, and along this line, just fight against it, say that's wrong. The person's, it should be about their brain, not their appearance, and just take all kinds of avenues with that thought. Well, you can't afford it, whatever. Okay, but eventually they did, learn. You can't win if you don't play the game. Adam used to tell me that, and it would infuriate me. It was more about different kind of situations. But yeah, you can't win if you don't play the game, and that could rather fit into me. It still unnerves me because I'm more, open-minded myself. That clothing shouldn't make all that big of a difference. But if you're working where you're a representative of that company, and you come to work, and you got old tattered pants on and shirt, and your hair's all long and messed up, male, all long and not taken care of, or just in a ponytail, it does. I get it, that it's not exactly what they want to show the world, is that they don't care. And that's what I think a lot of it comes down to, is that there's no pride. It's just lazy. I got up this morning and took something out of the hamper and put it on kind of thing. No, it's a professional world, you live in. Okay, but believe me, it still rubs me the wrong way. It really does. There's no, because I've mentioned this in, I think, one video one time, that the area that I live in, women, it's so, I don't know if it still is today, but there was such a, I don't think it's much today, but there was a time when, like a little, I don't know, decade or two, I don't know, but where women were basically taught, you go to work in an office, you were black slacks, okay, black slacks and pants, you know. I'm sounding like my mom, slacks, but, and a shirt that was like one solid color, not red or something neon that, you know, really, you know, shows up, because you basically had to look like everybody, every other woman. You know, you couldn't really stand out. You needed to look conform. And so I really have a thing against all that. I remember I went for a job interview and it was at an agency, and I had to take all these tests, which were, you know, whatever. I passed all of them. And then I had to take IQ test. The woman actually said, you have a really high IQ, you know, shows up, yeah, whatever. And anyway, her thing was, she says, but I wouldn't send you out on a job unless you go home and change your clothes. Now, I was in my early 20s, and I had just moved from Austin to Dallas. Okay. Yeah, big difference between Austin and Dallas. And my clothing was a dress, and but it was white. Okay, and it had a white jacket over it, and then the dress itself had some blue in it, but it was mainly white and blue stripes, and it was to her inappropriate. And I remember telling Adam, it was kind of funny, because I told Adam, I said, you know, he was furious. He was just furious. He said, there's nothing wrong with the way you're dressed, and blah blah blah. But we had just moved, you know, back here to Dallas, and I'd only been here a short time before. But anyway, so I said, I'm going to go and buy some old matron, you know, school marm clothing. And I actually said an age, which now at this time it makes me laugh. Because I was like 21, and I was like somebody who's 30 or 31. We all know that's just not the case. But, you know, then I was young, you know. I think I was probably 22 maybe. Early 20s, somewhere. And so I did. I went and bought a dress that was brown, and it was a shirt and a skirt. It was brown. It had lace, like you see. The dress itself looked like what I see today, as someone maybe around age 90 would wear. Okay. I went back to that office, and that woman, she was barely, you know, probably 30 herself, and she said, "That's much better." I was doing a sarcasm, but yeah, that's the story. Anyway, I'm waiting on something in case you're wondering. But in my mind, I'm not one that feels like you have to conform so much as some of the people I've seen, like my last story. So I have it a little bit against, but at the same time, yeah, even then, even not with that particular woman, but even, you know, when I would hear these guys talk about how they don't want to cut their hair, but they're told they have to, in my mind it was like, yeah, you do. You know, because some of these guys, the way their hair looked as it was, just, anyway, you know what I mean. But I have worked in the places that were very laid back, and people would expect it to be very laid back there. So, yeah, but in a professional office, they don't expect, you know, you have clients and everything that wind up, they don't want to see, you know, blue jeans and, you know, things that have holes in them and all that stuff, you know. Okay, I'm starting to ramble.